Hi, I'm Melanie Barr. Welcome to the She Built It Experience with Melanie. You're here because you want to experience the life and business that you crave. Join me as I talk to women who have successfully built it, a career and business that they love. We dive into the topic of how they built it and talk about everything from having the courage to make career leaps to the details of how to lead effectively, create successful teams, implement strategies for growth, and infuse tech innovation. Magic happens when we focus on the part of ourselves and our business that brings us joy. So let's dive in. Renee Rhinehart, party planner, entrepreneur, and broadcast media professional, is the founder of two companies, Events by Renee and Party Host Helpers. She has helped dozens of couples go from the engagement ring to I do, and Party Host Helpers has expanded from Philadelphia and is now in 30 cities from New York City to Los Angeles and continues to grow. Thank you for joining us, Renee. You are the owner of Events by Renee and Party Host Helpers. Share with us the pivotal moment when you decided to launch your business and what gave you the courage to launch them.
Sure. So I'll start with my first business, Events by Renee. Back in 2007, 2008, I was working at a magazine doing events there, and I knew I wanted to move more from marketing to event planning, but I didn't want to work at a venue and I didn't want to work for a caterer. I like the idea of being in different venues and even people's homes and different experiences to be an event planner. So a partner and I at the time launched Events by Renee, and I thought there definitely has to be a need for staff. I was having clients that I threw their daughters' huge $100,000 weddings come to me and say, "We're throwing a dinner party. Do you know any bartenders?" And using my network, I helped them. But I was like, there's got to be something that I can use my skills and my network for versus running an event business for the rest of my life. I didn't want to be at a wedding every Saturday working. I knew that I had hopes of settling down and starting a family. So Party Host Helpers was spurred from, I think, really a need from my current client base. And then from that moment, it just grew.
That is so smart because I've hired an event planner to help me. I have twins. When they turned one, I was exhausted and so many people were coming and I thought I need help. So I hired an event planner and it just elevates the entire experience. But by the end, after hosting and you're exhausted. So having that extra set of hands to do something
Absolutely
is so important.
It is important. And a lot of fellow entrepreneurs, they might throw a corporate party, throw a client appreciation party. You know, we like to do it all. We like to make sure that we're in control, but having our team there. So Party Host Helpers has bartenders, servers, registration helpers, coat check attendants. Having us there allows them to focus on their bottom line, their clients, and just like at personal parties too. It lets you focus on family.
Yeah, it's such a relief to the host. Usually events go by so fast anyway. You know, like a wedding, you feel like you've talked to everyone and no one. So having those extra set of hands is just so helpful.
Absolutely.
I also know there's a lot of logistics involved. What is your approach to organizing your events, all of the elements, and managing your teams?
Events by Renee is different than Party Host Helpers. Events by Renee is now much smaller. So we do about 20 to 25 events in the tri-state region. Party Host Helpers, we have 20,000 people nationally that work for us that are in our system. And I have an executive team of 6 regional directors who manage different territories for me. So Events by Renee, I keep spreadsheets. I have a few people that work for me. We stay in close contact with our clients on a daily and weekly basis. I have timelines, out and checklists and things like that to keep everyone organized. For Party Host Helpers, we have a software that's really helpful to keep our client and helper information straight, apps for the helpers when they check in, they have to do it on their phone. And it's wild. And never my wildest dreams when I started this 10 years ago, I would think we would have an app. I was doing this all via spreadsheet. So the technology has really helped me scale and grow.
How many states are you in?
We do business in about 30.
That's so great.
Yeah, it's been an exciting journey.
You believe a business owner must have grit. I do too. Share with us a moment when you came upon a challenge and how you dug deep to find your grit, like all business owners do. How did you turn that moment around?
Sure. So we can all say COVID, but it really hit the hospitality industry hard. We went from having a huge 2019, huge, the biggest in all of our years of Party Host Helpers, and then just crickets in 2020. We had huge plans for 2020 and they all went out the window. So when I say we had no business, I mean, we had no business for many, many months. So I kept my team. We communicated a lot. We sent a lot of party tips and old photos, and we tried to stay relevant with our client base. And I think, that took grit, is staying disciplined enough to make sure that I was still working on the business, even though there was nothing happening and nothing coming in, finding ways to be creative to still make sure that we're top of mind when they are ready to party, when our clientele is ready to party. And they've been partying since 2021, I would say. So
everyone's so ready. We're all so ready.
Great. Right. And I hate to even bring COVID up, but that was probably the most recent devastation to hit my industry and my company.
For the events business, especially. And I was about to host last May, my first in-person She Built It event again. And then everyone I knew had COVID, including my family, for the first time in May. And I thought, okay, well, we'll wait. But we've started to host events again for She Built It. And it's been just so great to connect with everyone. And I work with an event planner and I started to hire her again. I know things are looking up for you for sure.
Absolutely. We're having a stellar year. And then me personally, the grit that came through is I was in a spot where my husband and I sold our condo in a week. I was trying desperately to get pregnant. We were trying to find a home to start our life together. I got married right before COVID hit. I knew that I couldn't just sit home and wait for my business to come back. And a lot of people say like entrepreneurs need grit. And yeah, I still have that grit. I babysat twice a week and I worked at a wine store, and it got me out of the house. It had me bring money in for our family. Not that it was a lot, but it helped. I got pregnant while I was working at the wine store. Like only me would be working around alcohol, get pregnant.
Funny how life works out that way, right?
It is. And then we signed on our home that we're in now, and it all worked out and business is better than ever. But that situation reminded me of how I started in the first place. It was a lot of hard work and a lot of getting our hands dirty. As entrepreneurs, we have to think back to the beginning when we literally got our hands dirty, starting it from scratch. And sometimes you have to go back to that place.
Yeah. Good for you for doing that and finding it.
Thank you.
All entrepreneurs have to take a form of risk, from the daily risks we take to the monumental ones. What is your approach to risk taking as an entrepreneur?
I have an aversion to saying no. Some people are the opposite. I say yes. And sometimes I might say yes too much, but it's gotten me to where I am. And the risks that I've taken, I started Party as Helpers thinking it would literally just be the tri-state Philadelphia area, like I said, in conjunction with Events by Renee. And for some reason, I set up a 1-800 number for the company versus just a Philadelphia area code, which was good thinking on my part. And I got a call from a client who was based in Hollywood, California. She needed someone to make mojitos at a party that she was throwing in Hollywood. So I guess there's a company in the Los Angeles area with a name similar to ours, and she must have just gotten confused. I didn't tell her that. I said, of course I can send a bartender. That's no problem. Hung up the phone. I was like, gosh, what am I going to do? Remembered a colleague who lived there, and he did it for me. And that was our first California event and our first event really outside of the tri-state area. I could have said, I'm so sorry, we can't help you. But I've had that yes attitude and taking risks of taking on jobs. I feel so lucky and fortunate that the business has come to us naturally in so many places that I never even dreamt of opening up, that I take the client's needs and make it happen. And that's how we build out our territories.
That's so great. And I love that attitude because you don't know unless you try. And we can always course correct.
Yep.
And I'm sitting in California, so I'm going to remember you the next time I'm in need of event helpers.
Absolutely.
It really is such a relief when you're trying to host and, not having that added something else to think about.
Exactly. It really makes a difference.
You have seen many couples down the aisle, from the ring to I do to married. Share with us your wedding insights and the lessons you learned as a wedding planner.
There's a lot of lessons. Each wedding that I do, because I'm still involved in Events by Renee, I probably do about 60% of the weddings that are on our books each year. I learn something from each event and each bride that I work with, but I tell my brides this too, just relax. There's going to be things that go wrong. And that's why you have me and my team there to navigate and find a solution. being quick on my feet is really a good quality that I bring to the table. So I go into these weddings with confidence, knowing whatever comes up, I'll figure it out. It's okay. And I tell this to my brides, like, you're hiring me for insurance, really. You could be as organized as you want, but things are still going to happen, and just enjoy the day. It goes quickly, and let me do the work so you don't have to.
And most of the time, the guests don't know that something has gone wrong. So that's great advice to give to your brides.
Never. They don't know.
I had a hairdresser that did the hair for 500 brides. I thought, I do not know. That is a lot of brides.
That's a lot of brides, a lot of personalities, a lot of hair.
Right. You are a new mother. So happy for you.
Thank you.
Share with us your experience in running a business as a new mother, and what advice do you have for those juggling a busy lifestyle?
So I'm still figuring it out. Help is monumental. And not just childcare, managing a home, being a wife, and being a mom. I know my weaknesses, unfortunately, are not organizing things. I can organize people, but I'm a little bit disorganized, and have no shame recently in hiring experts. Just like I'm an expert in my field, hiring experts to organize a closet for me, to organize where I keep all my holiday decor. We haven't even been in this house for 2 years, and Reese, my daughter, is 1. So a lot of the focus when we first moved in was getting her room ready and getting baby ready. So now I'm not afraid to let people come in and do the things that I'm not great at. So I hired a new assistant this year who's great and who does a lot of personal and professional things for me that really helps me focus on the bigger picture and doing the CEO things that I should be doing versus running errands or prepping for events, stuffing goodie bags, things like that.
That's really good advice, because when it's your business and your baby, you can want it done a certain way. So letting go of that can be challenging.
Absolutely. My husband and I are fortunate. We both work from home. I had an office in the past, but it just doesn't make sense. So we have a great babysitter, but we also have the flexibility of like from 12 to 1, sitting at the table with Reese and having lunch and putting her down for a nap if she needs us, or taking a quick walk around the block. We have that flexibility, and I don't take that for granted. One of the reasons I wanted to be an entrepreneur 15 years ago was that I wanted that flexibility. I want to go to her school and go on field trips and be involved like my mom was involved with me. But I still want to run companies. So
yes, of course. I know we want to do it all.
Exactly.
And I think that happens for a lot of women. When you have kids, that's the time you make the leap to launch a business or continue to grow one. So you can have that flexibility.
Exactly.
Magic happens when we focus on the part of ourselves and our business that brings us joy. What is one way that you make sure to find and live your joy each day?
For me, I find joy in my team that works for me, and then the 20,000 people in our system who we're providing opportunities to. Sometimes I step back and think, wow, I'm making a difference in these people's lives. They're picking up side gigs. They're earning extra money. They're doing what they love. I'm providing opportunities for them to do what they love. So that's always been a driving force for my joy. And then I would say, just piggybacking on what I said earlier, it's just that I've built something that I'm proud of and that I'm in control of. So that makes me happy every day, knowing that I'm in charge of my schedule. I'm in charge of when I want to see my kid, when I want to spend time with my husband, when I want to work on house stuff. It's a juggling act, but I'm the one writing the script.
It has to be so great to know that you are giving people a side hustle and also helping them to be social at the same time.
I mean, and it's crazy. We have anyone on our team from a college student to someone who's retired and just likes to get out of the house to maybe a stay-at-home mom who used to be in the hospitality industry and wants to make some extra money. For me, obviously, clients are important and their experience is important, but just as important for me as the owner is the helper's experience. Did you have a great experience with this client? Did you enjoy it? Tell me what you liked about it.
Yeah, and that's only going to help your continued success.
I hope so.
You've built 2 incredible businesses. Congratulations. Can you please tell our listeners how and where we can find you?
Yeah, absolutely. Party Host Helpers is our national party staffing company. You can find us at partyhosthelpers.com. We're also on Instagram and Facebook, Party Host Helpers. And then Events by Renee, if you want to check out my wedding and event work, eventsbyrenee.net. And if anyone is interested in hiring Party Host Helpers, I have a promo code for you, RR, Renee Rhinehart, RR22, and that'll give you $25 off your first booking with us.
Thank you for joining us today. I'd love to hear from you. Reach out to me at hello@shebuiltit.com on our She Built It website or at She Built It on social. Thank you to my editor, Rich Streffolino, who always makes us sound good. Until next time, let nothing stop you from experiencing the life and business that you crave.